Hey, welcome to Guitar Knobs, the guitars, gear, noise, and nonsense podcast, hosted today by these knobs.
Tony Dudzik, Pick Guardian.
Jared Brandon Wound Pickups.
Hey, it's me, Todd Novak. Welcome to another beautiful episode of the Guitar Knobs podcast.
That's right.
We're very excited to be here. We're very excited to be hanging out with each other, talking about things we love, such as
boutique builders of musical stuff.
Yep.
Things like guitars and amplifiers and pedals and hurdy-gurdy makers.
No.
Yes.
No.
Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about the hurdy-gurdy makers.
What else, Jared?
Oh, we like to talk about educational things, like what speakers do I get?
Yeah.
You know.
101 episodes.
101
as
episodes.
they're called,
yeah,
I think.
What pickups do I get for the thing? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. All those things.
Yeah.
And tonight we've got somebody super special on the line.
Oh, hey, I'm Todd Novak. Or I'm Steve Demedash.
That's a good one. Nobody's done that.
You don't talk enough to be him.
He has been preparing for this.
Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah. Hey, how's it going?
It's going well. Steve, I'm just going to have to introduce you for you. Steve.
Apparently.
Yes. And correct me if I get this wrong. Steve Demedash.
Yeah, you got it right.
All right. Not a long E, right?
Not a long E. Some people put the long E there.
Yeah. Yeah, I wanted to.
Well, some people are like Demedash or Demedash, and it's like, no.
Yeah.
No.
So we have Steve Demedash from Canada. Specifically where in Canada?
Winnipeg, right in the middle.
Winnipeg, right in the middle. Ooh, that's cold up there. Goodness sakes.
Oh, yeah. We're kind of above Minneapolis.
Yeah, I used to live up there, Minneapolis.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we probably waved at each other from the Boundary Waters, maybe.
Yeah, there's probably nothing in the way. There's no scenery.
No, none.
No.
Well, we're very excited to talk to you, Steve. You are well revered in the pedal community. You've got two outstanding pedals out there that have garnered a lot of interest and high praise, and we can't wait to talk to you about those. We have them in front of us, although you folks out there can't see them, I should say, but you can go to Instagram and check them out readily. Where can they go to, Steve?
Demedash Effects.
Perfect. And that's EFFECTS, not FX. So go check out Instagram, find his wares so you can follow along the bouncing ball known as Tony with us. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are very excited for this. We've got a couple things to hit real quick. Number one, we want to say a big fat thank you to Rode for providing our lovely Rodecaster Pro, this beautiful machine on our table, recording all of our sultry sounds. And
it is more than just a pretty face.
It really is. And also the Procaster microphone. Absolutely love these things. Hopefully we sound pretty good. I think we sound pretty good.
I think we sound very good.
Yes. Anything particular about these you want to mention there, Tony?
No.
No? Okay, great.
No. I don't like the articulating arms anymore.
I didn't think so.
They turned on him.
You never mentioned
got my
them at
finger
all.
caught in it.
That's right.
We also want to throw a big fat hello to Barefoot Buttons.
Hello.
They have been supporting us for a little bit here, and we like to support them as well. In general, we would just want to say, if you have not experienced a Barefoot Button on your pedals or on your pedal board, highly recommend it. You can get them in all kinds of colors, all kinds of sizes. They're easy to put on, and they're super helpful, especially in gig situations. I cannot stress that enough. It's fine if you are, it totally works if you're playing at home with your bare feet, but if you're gigging, this is really a clutch piece of gear to help designate between pedals and make sure you're hitting that button on that effect at the right time and not screwing up.
Have these actually been tested by bears?
There might be. That's a good question. I bet you're the first one to ask that, never. And also want to make sure that if you want to get these for a gift for somebody, which they do make actually really perfect gifts, like stocking stuffers and stuff. We got holidays coming up.
Yes.
Just make sure you purchase by the 18th of December for holiday delivery.
And don't they do that lasery thingy too?
They can. You can get custom stuff right on the top of it.
Wow.
It's pretty amazing. Visit barefootbuttons.com and get free shipping over $15 in the U.S. Get them at barefootbuttons.com. I can say that in one sentence. Barefootbuttons.com. I said it twice. Barefoot Buttons, music for your soul. SOLE. All right. And we also Want to give a big shout out to one of our new patrons, Justin Jones. He shared with us like some of the gear he's playing. I thought that was kind of cool. And because both of them, that gear that he's mentioning, are former guests. So he plays a Cower Banshee. So we just had Doug Cower on. That was such a great episode.
I love that
Got great response from that. Make sure you go check out that episode if you have not already heard it. And he plays that through his Benson Dizzy Bird.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, Benson making some mighty fine amps up in the Pacific Northwest there.
Hey.
And those are featured on a lot of heavyweight players,
Yeah.
Mighty good stuff. So thanks to Justin Jones, A, for being a patron, B, an executive producer, and just for being a general all-around good guy and guitar enthusiast.
That's right.
All right, we're going to get on to what's going on in this world, in our guitar world this week. I might be a little punchy because I only got 3 hours of sleep last night and was working very, very hard, but bear with me, everybody.
Oh, dear.
So this week, Tony's going to lead us off, and then we're going to jump right in and find out what Steve's doing. Go ahead, Tony.
Cool beans. Well, a week or two ago, we were talking about I got tempted by the Eastwood clearance sale.
Who can't?
And I picked up a really cool guitar. This was the Eastwood Side Jack 300. So it's their take on the Mosrite 70s Model 300 or 350 stereo, which is basically their take on a Telecaster.
Mm-hmm.
And I there's
kind of a droopy Telecaster.
It's kind of got a droopy horn.
Yeah,
but that's okay.
Droopy.
Like Jerry.
Hello, folk.
But I wanted to mention two things about it. So I've got the guitar. I'm real happy with it. I wanted to talk about customer service for one thing.
Okay.
Especially specifically Eastwood's customer
Is it
service.
good or bad?
It's good.
All right.
So I order this item. It's on their clearance sale. And I get a note back from their customer service person saying, I think we're out of the black one. Would you like one of the sunburst ones? Mm-hmm. And they said, cancel that. We found the last black one. Mm-hmm. Well, little did I know that the last black one was sitting in a warehouse in Liverpool, England.
Whoa.
Now, this is where it gets crazy. And I sent an email to Mike Robinson from Eastwood.
Mm-hmm. Also a former guest on the show.
A former guest and another great episode.
Yeah.
And so I see that this guitar is going to, they gave me the tracking information, and they said it will be delivered the next day to Columbus, Ohio. This is the craziest thing in the world. So I said, no, if it was coming out of Chicago, which one of the big companies up there does their distribution, I could say, yeah, no problem. This thing literally was loaded on a jet, and the next day I tracked it. It followed it. It landed in Memphis.
Did they airdrop it?
I don't know how they do it.
Dang.
But anyhow, so the thing was, they could have said, well, we're out of stock. We're not going to do it. Instead, they shipped the guitar from Liverpool, England to the United States overnight.
That's insane. Mike's got some pull, man.
And that's why I said he must have one hell of a deal with FedEx to do that.
Yeah.
And then the second thing I want to mention, so I'm very happy with the guitar. He must know Tom Hanks. Yes, Wilson.
Yeah. So stupid.
So I get the guitar, and I think it's going to be a standard Telecaster size. It's actually a little bit wider, and I guess I should have known better. Wilson!
I'm sorry.
Can't get over it.
Okay, I'm good.
So it turns out I need a case that would fit like a Jazzmaster or a Jaguar, a wider body. Mm-hmm. So I did a quick search, and I am just I don't normally order things from Guitar Fetish, but they have these cases, and it's a tooled leather. I mean, it's vinyl leather, but it looks like tooled leather.
It looks outstanding.
It's an incredibly cool case, and they had a sale going, and even with shipping, it was under $100 for this case, and it's a beautiful case. I mean, it looks like, I don't know if you've seen some of the Paul Reed Smith tooled leather cases. I mean, it looks just like that. I mean, it's...
Yeah, I figured out what would go perfectly with that.
What's that?
One of Henry Amplification's tooled leather amps. Seriously, that would look... That would be a...
That would be
a
stunning.
Beautiful pairing.
So anyhow, that was my tip. I think even Jared, I brought the case into the studio today. He says, "Oh, I need a couple of those," and I think you just ordered 2 of them, didn't you?
Yeah, I got 2 of them. Why not?
All right.
Yeah.
So Guitar Fetish, you owe me a little commission.
Yeah. And you know what? You get a Tone Snob tooled leather pedal board to match it. Are you kidding me? Go to a gig with that trifecta? Oh, man.
Your daughters probably love to go shopping with you.
What does that mean?
You're good at coordinating colors.
Oh,
and
thanks.
whatnot.
Okay. What does that have to do with
that's
tooled leather?
That's what's happened in my musical weird.
That's
week.
Fantastic. Let's go over to Steve Demedash. How are you? Tell us what's going on in your
good.
world.
Okay, well, going on in my world, I did save an owl the other day, so that was fun.
An owl.
Yeah, so I was walking my dog over, and my dog basically takes me where he wants to go. It's like, you try going 3 different directions, and he doesn't want to go in either of them, so obviously he wants to go in the 4th, and so we do that at every corner. And so he leads me over to the field where he can run around without, the leash on. And he leads me up to the soccer net, and he's sniffing at the thing, and I see there's an owl there.
Oh, wow.
It's just wrapped up, and it looks like it's dead. And so he's sniffing it, and then I see its head move. It's like, oh, okay. So, I called up my dad and was like, hey, can you come down here with, some like thick gloves and a pair of scissors?
Yeah, you don't want to lose your finger.
Yeah, exactly. Because,
Those talons are pretty...
Talons in the beak.
Yeah.
Oh, the beak. I forgot about the beak.
Yeah. So, 5-10 minutes later, he shows up, and another guy had come over because he saw something moving around before I got there, and had came over while I was there. And, between the 2 of us, we were able to cut the netting. It was like all over. It was like around its wings and in between feathers and around its neck. It was like obviously like struggling a lot, and just made the situation worse for itself. So we were able to get it out. It took about 10 minutes, and it went to fly away, but one wing was fine, but one wing couldn't extend all the way. So I'm guessing it was broken. So I called 311, information services, and basically told them what the situation was. There was this injured owl here, got it out of a net, and they connected me to a couple different places that were closed for the day. This was Friday or Saturday. But the third place was the city's animal services line. I'm not sure what the name is. But somebody was able to come out, and, I waited with the owl for a couple hours till he got there. And because it was dark by that point, it was pretty cold. So it wouldn't be possible for him to see the owl in the dark. But he got there, and, I showed him where it was, and he was able to kind of stun it by shining a flashlight in its eyes. And then he came over with his big net, kind of put it over top, tucked it underneath, and then was able to carry it away.
And then the owl said, great, I just got cut out of a net. Now I got another one on me.
Out of one net and into another.
Man.
Oh, that's cool. Did you follow up to see if, do they have like an animal care hospital
I didn't even
or something?
think to do that.
Yeah. That's cool, though. You
Not
gave him
every day
a
get to
fighting
save an
chance.
owl.
Exactly. I didn't really want to find out that, they couldn't do anything and had to put him down or anything. So.
Right. Well, that's an interesting story, man.
Yeah.
Well, and just to ensure everybody, and we're going to get in deep into his other guitar stuff, but we appreciate hearing that story. That's kind of fun.
That's a good story.
Yeah, that you are the first one to tell an owl story
Probably
in
the last.
150 something episodes.
First time I've ever seen an owl up close too.
They're very cool birds.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Jared.
Oh, I had a great guitar week. So I've been kind of in this nostalgic mood, and I kind of rekindled a really good friend of mine that I was in my first band with. I got to thinking, what did I have? Like, what equipment did I have when I was in my first band? And I had a mid-70s Gibson SG Standard, which I loved. The thing was a workhorse. I also had a PV. I had the non-tube solid-state version of the PV. I think it was a combo, and it had the phaser on it. And I love that phaser.
Was that 80s amp? An 80s?
I think it was the early 80s, yeah.
The silver sides?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I think it did, yeah.
All right.
It had in the old logo.
Yeah, the old PV phasers are really nice.
Yeah,
actually.
that's what I had. It was a great amp. It was loud as heck. It was made in USA. I was happy with it at the time, you know. So I thought, what the heck? I'll just buy another one. So I bought the tube version. I bought the, and they were only a couple $100 usually. Mm-hmm. So I got me a PV Classic 212 tube VT.
Dude, we both got those.
Yeah, with the, I just wanted the phase.
Yeah.
Nice.
We need to, actually, we can bring him into John's studio and put them together and we can record something.
You should plug them in back to back on the speaker outputs
Yeah,
to see
or
which one
towards
blows
each
up
other.
first.
That sounds pretty fun, man.
So I haven't gotten it yet, but I should get it by the end of the week.
You going to have Rob from Mad Cow check it out?
I don't know that it's not even worth paying him to look it over.
All right.
If it falls
might be.
apart, I'll just throw it away and get another one for
don't
$200.
Throw it away. Just give it to me. I'll fix it.
Right.
I can do that.
I'm just kidding.
Awesome.
Todd, what about you?
Well, speaking of John Finnell, who is a former guest who runs Relay Recording down here, we're going to be recording over there for my band. And so I just went over and brought him a couple pedals that I've been playing around with. And we're just talking about, like, just kind of prepping, like, hey, what are we thinking about when we get into the studio? And I love talking to people who have to do, like, that kind of stuff and sort of the either whether it's the audio or the video or whatever they're doing, and just kind of finding out, we had an entire episode on this, like, what should I prepare for going into recording? And that was a 101 that we did, so make sure you go and check that out, everybody. So we were just talking about it. And one of the things I brought up was, and he had a very, John, way to answer this, but I thought, when I'm playing live, I want to boost my mids so I can, kind of be heard and not get drowned out. I've discussed that a couple times. Mm-hmm. So I told him, I said, yeah, so I'm bringing, and I'm boosting the things. And I said, is that something that I would do in the recording studio? Will that matter? Because I'm not trying to cut through to, a PA system. Like, you can sort that out on the board. And he just looked at me and he goes, no, man, just play what you... Just do your sound and we'll start from there. I thought it was going to be much more complicated or much more guru-esque.
I think you should plug straight into the board.
Yeah, that'd be a great
I think you should
idea.
just yell your guitar parts.
I could.
That would be sick, man.
Da, 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 da.
Yep.
I might try that. That sounds
Do it.
fantastic.
You
cut
can
a
put
whole
your
album.
voice through pedals and everything.
Yeah. So anyways, that's what I did, and it was super duper fun.
Cool.
So, all right. 1, 2, 3. 4 on the floor. All right, Steve Demedash of Demedash Effects, give us your 4 on the floor.
I'll start with, this Strymon Deco. That one I did not expect to like. I originally had gotten a Boss MD 500, the modulation one, and I didn't really bond with it. So I returned it to Long & McQuaid and used the credit. I had the credit, but they didn't really do cash back. So I was like, well, okay, well, I was curious about the Deco. I didn't really, expect anything out of it. I figured I'd return it, 2 weeks later. But I brought it home and, fell in love with it. It's awesome. It just has, I don't know, I play stereo when I'm at home just kind of messing around, and it is the most beautiful, like, split stage pedal on a pedal board.
Preach.
So, where you go from mono to stereo, because you can set it to wide stereo mode. And what that does is it lets you use the lag knob to set the delay of the right channel with respect to the left channel, where the left channel is basically your dry. And it's just amazing. Because, most stereo things play with the phase difference. So that gives you direct control over the actual phase difference itself. Yeah, it's beautiful.
That
And
sounds awesome.
Yeah, it has okay saturation and stuff. Like, it's good, but that's not why I love it. It's just that stereo configurability. It's just amazing.
We find that people who love the stereo really love the stereo. Yeah. That's cool, man. What do you have for number 2?
Number 2, let's go with the 1981 DRV. I mean, Matt Hoops is an awesome guy, a good friend. And it's one of those pedals where it has a lot of hype around it, obviously. He's done a great job of marketing it.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't expect to like it as much as I did, kind of like the Deco. It's like, okay, it's got a lot of hype. It's going to be an okay pedal that's being sold really well. But, and I know others have had this experience where they're still curious. So, they get one and it's like, oh, this has no right to be this good. It's like, it's like based on a rat, but it is not like a rat. It almost sounds like you've extended the range of every single knob on it. I don't know. To me, it sounds like a rat that is, somebody played a guitar track with a rat, and then a studio engineer has gone and cleaned that up and made it sound really polished. And that is the sound of the pedal.
Well, that one definitely has a lot of hype around it, and apparently for good reason. I mean, people speak pretty highly of it.
Yeah. You don't expect to be as good as it is since there's so much hype. Like, it's like, it can't be that good. And you get it, it's like, okay, it is that good.
But that's a good surprise to get. It's like, there's nothing worse than going like, oh man, I can't wait to get this. And you get it and you're like,
yeah. Yeah, everybody's had that happen once or twice.
Yeah, it happens. But sounds like you got a winner, and that's cool. What about number 3?
Yeah, absolutely. Number 3, let's go with the Chase Plus Therme.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Got some time on your hand?
Yeah.
I just think it is an absolute marvel of engineering. I don't understand it. Like,
you're not alone.
But it's an area where, I do understand how things work generally in, bucket brigade stuff and the physics of that. But the amount of work and ingenuity that went into actually creating the processing, like the code that runs what's on it, just blows my mind. I don't understand why Joel did it, because it seems like such a headache.
Yeah.
So I got mine in a trade with Joel, actually.
Nice.
Yeah. Same with the DRV, come to think of it. Both those, I traded a couple pedals. We were mutually respected each other's work.
Sure.
And so I met Joel at NAMM in July. Ran into him there, and we got to talking, and we kind of followed each other on Instagram, but had never spoken in person. So that was a good chance to meet. And then we realized we were both going to Montreal for the Sonora Festival in September. So we were like, hey, let's do a pedal trade, when we're there.
That's cool.
So I traded him a couple of a T120 Standard, a T120 Deluxe, and a 112. And he traded me a Condor and a Therme.
That's pretty sweet, man.
Yeah, it was great. I think we were both very happy with what we got.
That's nice.
Yeah.
The Therme's it's been on the 4 on the floor pretty much kind of regularly since it came out. That one, and also the Warp vinyl. Those two have made it to quite a 4-4 on the floors.
Yeah, I was going to say the Condor, or between the Condor and Therme, both are kind of equal for me there.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, what do you got for number 4?
Spaceman Sputnik.
Okay, yeah.
Another just amazing circuit.
Spaceman Sputnik.
Yeah. Sputnik 2 specifically.
Okay, Sputnik 2. Spaceman Sputnik 2. Tell us about it.
Yeah. It is just a phenomenal circuit. Zach from Spaceman's kind of a mysterious figure. I don't know anything about him. But, he does a lot to hide the traces of his circuits, but they end up getting traced anyway, which there's, that's a complicated topic. The fact that he doesn't sell the Sputniks anymore, it makes me feel less guilty about looking at schematics for them, I guess. But they're absolutely incredibly valuable for educational purposes, because he does some amazing things.
We have tried to get him on the show in the past, and it was like, yeah, all right, yeah. And that was as far as it went. So just in case anybody is like, why don't you get him on the show?
Yeah, he's a very mysterious figure. I don't know. He doesn't put himself out there a lot.
No. Well, his pedals are doing the talking, so. And they're cool looking, too.
Yeah. So, when I first was getting started, I was just making modified clones and stuff. Wasn't trying to make a popular company when I first started. But one of the things I was doing was, I was just making Sputnik 2 clones. And, oh, man, they're amazing. I cut that out as soon as I started getting more popular, because I didn't want to step on any toes or anything. But,
sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and I finally got, dished out for a Sputnik 1, like one of the originals. Had to pay an arm and a leg, but, kind of wanted just to actually have one. It's just great.
I like the idea of having that, especially like first runs or early first runs. It's kind of like any collectible things like wine or books or cars or anything like that, or even guitars.
Yeah, that's true.
It's neat to have some of the first ones that are out. Just there's a little extra specialness to that.
Yeah, I definitely have a thing about like getting the original things, especially if they inspired a lot of knockoffs or like, so I mean, that's not really the case with that, but it's like, I kind of want to get a Centaur. It's a lot of money though, so I haven't, but it'd totally be a flex to get one, but I just kind of want to get one. But I've got like an RE201, one of the tape echoes. I've got one of those old Magnatone amps that has the pitch vibrato like built into the amp, made in the 50s.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, those are awesome. Yeah. Recently got an oil can delay. It needs a bit of work though.
Yeah. The oil candle. Yeah.
Like it actually has, a can of oil, and it's the side of the can that's spinning that, gets charged and retains the echo. Yeah. Basically.
That's wild, man.
Yeah. I haven't got it working quite yet, but I do have it.
Is that something that you seek out with other builders specifically, or you just hope to find them?
I don't go out of my way to seek them really. I just kind of like, if I'll have my eye out for something, and if it comes up at a price I can, not feel too guilty about, then yeah, I'll jump at it.
That's awesome. Just out of curiosity, I think, I know that when you mentioned the Sputnik, we kind of checked phones really quick. So, Spaceman Sputnik Black 2010, $930.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, they're not. Well, they didn't make many of them, and they weren't too cheap to start with.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things where, the gear market just goes stupid about it.
Yeah, for sure. Now, if you got a red one too, that's pretty rare.
Yeah. So I just have the Sputnik 1. It's in gray. So I don't know, it was about like 800 Canadian, which, I mean, it's not cheap. I think that's about 600 US.
Golly.
It was totally a flex to get it. Though,
yeah.
So.
But hey, you know what the thing is like, that is one of those things that is going to fulfill your needs, and you're able to do it. Good on you.
Do it.
So, speaking of pedals, thank you for your 4 on the floor. That was pretty sweet. We got a couple new ones. We got a couple familiar ones. Looking forward to sharing that out. Make sure, everybody, that you check our Instagram and other things on Facebook and stuff for the 4 on the Floor blog post that we do, and lists out all the things about these pedals and gives you a link to go purchase them your own self. And we've got, I think personally, the neatest thing about that is if you look at the 4 on the Floor section of the website, it's literally who's who of the pedal and guitar and amp world. This is the thing that they love. Like, these are my favorite pedals. All right, we are here with Steve Demedash of Winnipeg, Canada, who is the purveyor of Demedash Effects. And he's got 2 pedals out right now. I think it's just the 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so I'm holding in my hand the 112 Plus Drive channel.
Yeah, and then I've got the T120 Videotape Echo Deluxe.
They work better when they're on the floor, though.
That is true, yes. This is difficult to play and hold at the same time. Don't try this at home.
It is slightly too big to use as a pick.
No, I don't think so.
Might be able to. Jared could. His hands are huge. So the T120 has been discussed many times on the show. It's made it to 4 on the Floor. It's one of those that I think other builders look at and go like, yep, that pedal. That is a special pedal. And that is a special builder. So you've got that going for you. So keep it up.
Yeah, I guess it means depends what they mean by special. But
special in a good way. Revered even. When we posted up on Instagram, like immediately someone said the man. So there you go.
I get nervous when people start looking at me like a role model.
Steve, I believe you have a background in electronics. Is that true?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I have a degree in electrical engineering from the University of Manitoba.
Well, perfect. What does that degree enable you to do in real non-guitar pedal building life?
It enables me to apply to jobs that require a degree in electrical engineering.
Perfect answer. Just like an electrical engineer. What made you pursue that?
Originally, because I wanted to know how amplifiers worked.
Really?
Well, yeah. Well, okay. Mixture of that, and I decided engineering seemed like a fairly promising career path, like as far as education went. I wasn't, in my first year in university, I did sociology, philosophy, the liberal arts. I'm from a family of artists. My parents both worked at the Manitoba Theatre Centre for their careers.
Oh, wow.
Doing props. And so, I was in the art major program in high school, fairly okay at, drawing stuff. I would be a lot better if I practiced, but, I have fairly good natural gift for it. And so, yeah, I was more naturally inclined towards that direction, but I kind of recognized that there wasn't anything I particularly wanted to do along those lines professionally, because it all seemed like it would just get stale fairly quickly. So I didn't want to commit to anything along those lines. So after high school, I moved to Banff, Alberta for a few years, snowboarded. Came back after a couple of years, took a few courses at the University of Winnipeg in the humanities. After a year of that, it's like, okay, I should actually pick a path now. And engineering seemed like a good choice. And then after a year of that, when it came time to pick a discipline in engineering, it's like, yeah, electrical. I can learn how amps work. Yeah.
So you were a player before that then?
Oh, yeah. I've been playing since I was in 6th grade, since I was 10 years old.
Wow. What got you started there?
The Offspring.
Okay.
Yeah. I was big into the Offspring when I was quite young, actually. So I don't know. Specifically, it was the intro guitar riff in "The Kids Aren't All Right" that made me want to learn to play guitar. I was like, I want to be able to play that.
See, I like that you can identify that. That I can identify mine. We've talked about that kind of before, and it's like it's just kind of nice to hear like when people can say, "Yep, it's that," and that made me do the thing that now you can draw connect all the dots to where you are right now. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to know that. Yeah, for sure.
And so you started playing that. What was your first guitar?
A Fender Squier. Like, one of those just black Fender, like Stratocaster lookalikes with the white pickguard.
Yep.
And a PV, I think it's called a Rage 50.
Oh, my.
Oh, yes, the Rage.
Yeah, like very, very not nice little amplifier.
Right. Too many knobs on a tiny little...
Wonderful distortion side on that.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Has a switch, you just press.
Yes.
Overdrive.
Yes. So you start playing that, and now is that one of those things where you quickly got like a gear kind of desire, or?
Oh, no, absolutely not. No, I played, electric guitar not very seriously until about 9th grade or so. So about 3 years of kind of like, kind of dicking around with it. And then I got into more, I listened to punk from when I was really young to about high school. And then I started getting to metal and kind of, learning, like Iron Maiden, Metallica stuff. And it's like, okay, this is fun. But never really got into effects or gear or anything. After high school, I played acoustic because I was, living out in Alberta. And it was only when I got into university and I had this whole backlog of songs that I'd written, and I figured out how to use GarageBand and kind of wanted a bigger arsenal of sounds for the electric guitar parts. So I, picked up a few pedals just on the cheap and kind of wanted different amp sounds, but didn't, as a student, I couldn't afford, even nice pedals, let alone amps. So I was like, hey, well, I halfway through my electrical engineering degree, I should see if I can't build pedals. So started doing that and was very bad at it for a while, for quite a few years.
Was that
Very
kind of
bad
frustrating
indeed.
as a person who is inclined to electricaliness?
The thing is, I wouldn't say I'm all that inclined to electricaliness. Or I wasn't at the time.
Huh.
I was very much like, I had the book learning kind of side of it down, the core study. But as far as like practical electronics and making a circuit go and soldering, that was my introduction to it.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So and that's the thing. I mean, like having an electrical engineering background, yes, it does help understand things when you're going into trying to understand how a circuit works, maybe why you're troubleshooting an issue.
Mm-hmm.
You can kind of visualize what's going on a bit more and how it works when it is working versus what it's doing and why this might be, the symptom, like
Mm-hmm.
what's causing that.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of self-study is still required because modern electrical engineering is so moved beyond what the technology that what used to be used in amps and still is perpetuated in pedals and stuff.
Right. Right.
Most stuff now, cutting edge technology, all DSP. So, a lot of self-study.
And can you explain DSP for those who are
Digital signal processing. So, you've got a microcontroller rapidly taking voltage samples of a waveform coming in, at its input pin. And it stores that value between, it digitizes, say, it's scaled, a waveform is scaled between 0 and 5 volts, and it splits that up into, say, however many thousands of, stages. So, very small differences can be detected, stores those, manipulates them in some way, applies an algorithm, say, to filter out the hiss or the high frequency, or maybe filter out a low frequency thing. You can pitch shift, you can do any number of things before you output the manipulated samples to reconstruct the waveform, which then gets smoothed out by a smoothing filter, and basically you get a perfect representation of the waveform as it went in, plus any manipulation you've done to it.
Golly.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, and you can use the same like hardware circuitry to do a gigantic number of different things, which is a huge benefit.
right. And you're so essentially you're designing, if I may make this sort of the sort of idiot's guide to understanding that and the difference between not DSP. DSP, you're creating the circuits in the computer, not
it's
on
not
a
even
breadboard.
Well, basically, I mean, you still need the hardware there. Like, you need the computer. The computer needs to interface with stuff. There's still, like, analog stuff going on.
Right.
But the dividing line is the fact that if the signal is digitally sampled and then digitally reconstructed, DSP has occurred, basically. Whereas in something like analog, you'll use an analog operational amplifier transistor or something. And never at any point is it digitized. But yeah, so with DSP, the manipulation is not due to the setup of the analogs stuff, due to what the code has done to manipulate the sample levels. I don't personally have anything that's done with DSP. I'm just kind of clarifying that all modern engineering is DSP.
I see. I understand. Okay.
For audio engineering, at least, because I mean, guitar players have some weird aversion to it, but same with surface mount. It's like, guys, surface mount was invented in the 80s. There's a good chance it's like everything you've ever heard music on has been through surface mount stuff. It's like, why are you avoiding it?
Yeah, and we talked about that with Zach from Mythos. I mean, we did a whole episode sort of based on some of the myths and misconceptions on with electronics and pedals, and that was one of the main topics. Yeah.
Some of the misconceptions are painful because, like, this is so obviously untrue.
Yeah,
we have those misconceptions in the pickup world too. I have to deal with them every day when I talk to people. But I find being transparent about it is just the best way to go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, same here.
Now we have them open because as you're talking about this, we love listening to smart people talk, and you qualify. So we open these up, and I appreciate what you wrote on the back of these. I think this is pretty clever. You wrote a quote from a book.
Did I tell you to stuff it?
One says, because he needed a friend so desperately, he never found one. From Joseph Heller in Catch-22. Amazing. And then the other one says, it'll help your attitude to look for evidence of design. David Foster Wallace, Infinite Jest. So you like reading, huh?
Oh, yeah.
That's
those
awesome.
two of my favorite books. So.
That's fantastic. I love that. That's really fun. Because that's the personal. We talk about this all the time. You've heard me say it before. That is the fingerprint of the maker. This is the stuff that we love. I love opening the back and going, ha! There's evidence of you in this, and that's really cool.
Well, and when it's handwritten, it just means all the more.
Yeah. Whether it's a doodle or whatever, or we got one from Low Designs, and it's on the back. It just says, "Hello, my name is." And that's how she signed it. And I was like, that's really fun. You have the opportunity to make a connection with the person who's reaching out saying, I want the thing that you make. And I applaud those who just do a little something. It's pretty fun.
Yeah. Those quotes, I really like doing them. And I've had a lot of people say, it's like, it doesn't that take a lot of time? Like, you should probably stop. It's like, yeah, at some point I probably will stop. But for now, I really like doing them.
No, you're not going to stop. You like doing it too much.
It's a lot of work with how many I make.
Yeah. Well, we do appreciate it. And now anybody that is looking, hopefully if you own one of these, I mean, for Pete's sakes, look at it on the inside. Be amazed. Be wowed. For Pete's sakes, also don't touch anything inside.
Don't drop a magnet in there or a hammer.
Just look at it. Just look at it.
Admire it.
Yes. Take a picture of it. Carry it in your wallet.
If you ever lose it, you can show it to the police and be like, "Hey,
see proof." That's really fun, man. Now, when you after you started getting going in this, and you started getting the hang of it, where did your sort of druthers take you? We're trying to build a path to where you're at right now.
Okay, so what happened was, I did my recordings of those songs and stuff, and kind of went on with my life. I finished my degree. I got a job at a General Electric transportation subsidiary here in Winnipeg. And, was writing software to test computational things that went on freight trains.
Wow.
And, it was good and it was fun.
That's the second freight train reference we've had in nearly a month. With John Esterly. He drives freight trains.
He's an engineer.
I thought it was going to be Elizabeth Cotton. The song Freight Train?
Yeah. It's different, but we have two freight train engineers that are different kinds of engineers. That's amazing.
He and I have talked about this, yeah. Yeah.
That's fun. That's super fun.
Yeah.
So before I so rudely interrupted, please go on.
Okay, yeah. So, so I was doing that, and, I kind of, stopped with the music for a while. And then I picked it up again. What happened was I got one of the Montreal Assembly count to fives. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of like pretty blown away by it. It was like, this doesn't fit into any category that I think of as an effect, Mm-hmm. Like it's not, it is a delay, but it's not. And just, I don't know, that really like reignited my interest in effects in general rather than, like effects as effects rather than effects as textures or just, additional things that you put on top of your guitar to make it sound different. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like, okay, this kind of changes my perspective of what effects can be.
Yeah.
And so I started, I got a Chase Bliss warped vinyl and a couple others. And, just kind of like, I'm really interested in what some of these smaller guys are doing because I only ever really looked at the bigger companies. Mm-hmm. And, they make what's marketable. But where smaller guys seem, I know now, but I kind of had the inkling back then. It was like, smaller guys seem to kind of do these neat things. And, if they sell, they sell. If they don't, they don't. Mm-hmm. But they're more interested in their vision. So it's kind of like the auteur kind of vision of directors.
Totally.
So it's kind of like you're buying into their idea of what they want to make. So I really thought that was cool. That was something I hadn't really thought about or seen before. So I started doing that. And obviously this is expensive to do, buying all these pedals. So I was like, okay, I was still so paying off my student loans at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, well, I could start making pedals again. I had gotten okay at it after a couple of years. And, I'd sold a few on Kijiji, which is like Canadian Craigslist. But, it was like, whatever, not a big thing. But I figured, at this point I was like, I could do that again. I started posting the things I was making on Reverb. And, I made a few bucks here, a few bucks there, and it was good. I was just making enough to make a few ill-informed and probably poor decisions as far as buying, expensive gear goes.
Mm-hmm.
And then I blew a tire one day, and I had to stop in at the nearest garage. And, I was waiting there. It was a few hours. And while I was there, I pulled up my old Instagram app, or Instagram account that I hadn't used in like 3 or 4 or 5 years, and started posting pictures of the stuff I was doing, with the pedals, and kind of changed it to Demedash Effects. And I was like, yeah, why not? And I figured out how to use water slide decals to apply graphics so that I could design them on the computer. Because while I was in university, I ran the Humor magazine and did all the graphic design for it as well. So, I learned to use Adobe Illustrator and stuff like that. So I started doing graphic design for my pedals, and for each pedal, I'd make a different design. The idea being that, hey, if this ever goes anywhere, I can have a backlog of designs to choose from. So basically I had a place to post pictures of these pedals. I had kind of was having fun just making different graphics and seeing how people responded to them, like what people really liked or commented on, or, whatever, kind of using it as a critique system of getting, seeing what people responded to, basically. And yeah, so I did that I started doing that in May 2018.
Wait a minute.
Yeah. So it's been a year and a half or so.
Dang.
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense.
remarkable.
I'm aware of this. Yeah. No,
Wow.
I know. And the thing is, I wasn't trying to get popular. It didn't mean for it to happen. Sorry, guys. Sorry, I'm saying sorry out of obligation. I'm Canadian. But yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Man.
Yeah. So, anyway, where was I before you stopped me?
So
you're so rude.
Yeah, I know. I'm a jerk.
Tell me about it.
Now, so you go from like, hey, yeah, I'm just kind of making a couple clone things here and to now we're sitting in front of the T120, a revered pedal, as well as the 112 Plus, also a highly revered pedal from builders. So it's not like, this spread like wildfire outside. It was like sort of from a builder-centric community outwards. I think those are something that we find really interesting. There are a couple key people in the industry that seem to have that sort of ness about them. And I'm very curious how you went from doing a couple clones to doing like a full-blown, like insane T120 and 112 Plus.
Okay, so the first T120 ever was a just modified Keeley Mag Echo. Nothing too special. And then somebody saw the picture of it and was like, I want one. It's like, I'm not going to make 2 clones of the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like,
that's ironic.
Give me a while. Yeah, no, it's like, I just don't feel comfortable. Like, I never really felt comfortable with the clones.
Yeah.
I felt kind of weird about it. I still kind of feel weird about it.
I get it.
But, it's like in that position where you're an unknown quantity, you're using the name of the pedal you're cloning as the selling point. You're not using your own name as a selling point.
Well, and you got to start somewhere.
And, if you want to sell it, that's how you do it. So for me, that was, it's like I could have tried making original circuits. I could have made a few original things, but there would be absolutely no selling point. Nobody would buy them. Mm-hmm. You're an unknown quantity.
Sure.
So I did. So, so I started making changes to that Mag Echo. And eventually, when it got by, I think the 4th or 5th one, it was a completely different thing. And it continued to change over time and to the point where it's just unidentifiable. Like, there are some of the same elements, like there's a PT2399 chip in there, but it's been redesigned over and over.
I could identify
and over,
that just by playing it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I thought there might be
so
two
basically
in there.
that was the origin of that one. It's its own thing now, but yeah, that's how it started.
Wow. Now,
Yeah.
that's also very specific because you picked out something that is familiar. It's fun because it's also a bit of irony. You're looking at a pedal that looks just like a videotape, which that's very clever, and I think people really responded to that.
So the actual idea for it
Yeah.
was I had the graphic idea first, and I was like, okay, this is cool. I want to make something that sounds like this looks.
Mm-hmm.
So I took like the Mag Echo and just kept trying to find ways to make it sound more and more like a videotape.
Mm-hmm.
And, so that was my whole goal over time. And so by the time I figured out how to do PCB layout, it was a completely different circuit. I think that was I did PCB layouts by unit 20 or so. And so by that time, it's a completely different thing. And I've got the PT2399 stage sounding really like clear and crisp, but then I absolutely garble it afterwards. So that's what I was doing there. And, kind of just playing with different ways of getting it to sound like VHS. Yeah. So it's fun.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I got a big kick when we opened up the package. I ran and it was like I was like show my kids get them involved, and I'm like check this thing out, and they're like, wow, what? And is that a tape? What?
Well, how about the actual videotape as part of the packaging?
Yeah, that's pretty clutch. Opening the box and seeing an actual videotape in there that's pretty neat.
Nicely done.
Yeah.
The guy who helped me with my logo, he suggested that, and absolutely great idea.
Yeah. Very, very clever. Now,
What is on those tapes?
You don't want to know.
okay, on the T120, I want to. It's great that it's cool and it's fun and everything, but it does very unique and special things. Can you just cover a couple of those for those who might actually be wanting to go like, hey, get on with it. Tell me what it does so I can buy one.
Okay, so there's two versions. There's the standard or classic or whatever you want to call it. It's got the 1 foot switch.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's the original one. And it's just sounding like a videotape. So you can have the echo really short so that it's, just sitting on top of your dry playing, but then add in some wobble on it, some modulation, and have it sound like a chorus. Or say turn all the dry down by turning, the echo knob all the way up. Mm-hmm. Mix out the dry and have it act as a vibrato. You can destroy the frequency spectrum by turning down tape quality. What that does is it's suppressing the highs and the lows at the output of the delay line so that it's just compressing everything into the mid-range. Mm-hmm. And the cool thing is that it does that on every repeat. So as the repeats go around, they get more and more degraded. Mm-hmm. The kind of image I had in my head for this was watching an old 70s wedding video where, you can distinguish that people are talking, but the tape's so old and worn out that you can't hear the words they're saying. That's basically what I want it to sound like.
I have an idea, and I'm just, it's sort of challenged. I think you could repackage this and call it Drunk Tony.
What do you mean by that? I'm gonna get you, Todd, Novak.
That's pretty good and realistic. Okay.
Years of experience.
Yeah, I apologize. There I go, interrupting again. Couldn't resist. Please continue.
Okay, so that's the T120. You've got your standard delay controls like echo, mix, repeat,
right?
Delay time, whatever you want to call them, and then your modulation controls, and then your spectrum control or tone or whatever you want to call it. It's not really a tone control because it does something funny, but basically works as a tone control. And then the deluxe is, I kept getting people asking for a mod to it or this mod to it. It's like, no. No, I'm just going to make a second one that so you can choose between this one and this one. So I spent a few months trying to develop this thing that would have all these different things inside of it. Plus a few things that people wouldn't really expect, but that would be kind of cool additions. So the deluxe has the 2 foot switches. One is, and they're both soft switches versus the standard one, which it's your hard latching switch. Mm-hmm. And the deluxe So you've got the engage, disengage. You can disengage it, and it has echo trails. So you play something, and then you turn it off, and then they kind of decay out, which is nice.
Yeah.
And then the echo switch, which what it does is it basically throttles the feedback loop of the delay, so that each time the echo comes back around, it's louder than before. So it swells up in volume. So I call it the swell switch.
Mm-hmm.
And the really, really fun thing about it is it can be used in bypass mode. So you can have the pedal off.
What? Yeah. I didn't do that.
Yeah. It's awesome. And so when I was in Montreal for Sonore, they assign each person a 30-minute slot to have their stuff demoed, and then give a list of musicians that'll be there, and you can get in touch with them and hire one. So the guy I hired, he was doing this awesome thing that I didn't even think of when I was developing it, or until that moment, which was he had it in bypass, and he was using it think of like a wah pedal where you kind of pump it on the quarter notes. He's doing that with the swell switch. And so it wasn't swelling up. It was just momentarily opening the delay line. So you'd get these like rhythmic pulse decay. Decay. Right. It was so cool. And so that, and I guess the setting of the intensity knob, which is like the feedback control, sets how long it'll take decay out, because you switch over to, an internal setting for how much is going through, and then you switch back to that knob when you release.
Holy mackerel. I cannot wait to try that. That sounds amazing.
And then, it'll take, basically all the knobs are pretty much active even when you do the momentary engage stuff. So, your time setting will determine how long it takes to swell up, because time between echoes, stuff like that.
That is so cool.
Yeah. Another fun thing is holding it down and then playing with the time knob. You just get some weird sounds.
Neato. I'm really excited about that.
Yeah.
We have another exciting pedal in front of us. This is the 112 Plus.
Yeah.
Let her rip.
Oh, I love it. It's awesome. It's just balls to the wall. Like it's not a heavy metal distortion pedal. My ideal like electric guitar sound is the Thin Lizzy live album. So that is kind of what I wanted it to sound like, but I wanted to do more, obviously. I wanted it to be the ultimate stacking pedal. So it has a huge internal supply. I pump up the voltage internally to 34 volts rail to rail, so that you can like just, put something really loud into it and it won't give. You can you can destroy anything, like just, put it into something else and just really overdrive it. Mm-hmm. You can use keys into it, no problem, huge headroom. So it can handle line level pretty well. And what I like doing is putting it at the end of the chain, kind of before I split to stereo, and just bring everything up. Or if I'm not playing stereo, just put it at the very end and just push the hell out of the amp, because it goes incredibly loud. Yeah. The idea was, I want it to be a clean boost, but I also want it to be a distortion. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Tony and I were talking about this. Tony, you loved this one.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I mean, this could actually be, a preamp going into a power amp section.
Oh, absolutely. 100% it could be, yes.
I mean, it was really, and when you say that it's hot, it is a hot circuit, because I usually try to test things on, at unity gain, engaging and disengaging. And I think level on this one was like at 9 o'clock. So, I mean, you still had a whole range of, that's.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
I've got like a Dumble amp that I built, clone that I built. And it reminds me of the 112, because like, I don't think I've ever played it with master above 2.
Yeah.
So it's like the 112. It's like whenever I take it to like trade shows, I have it on the table there, and level never goes above 2 or 3.
And then the other part that I liked about it was the 3-way voice switch.
Oh yeah,
that gives you just a lot of flexibility, and especially if you play different guitars, humbuckers or single coils.
I love that aspect, and the fact that you actually called that out in the instructions, I think is. And please, people, if and when you get one of these, when you get one of these, read the instructions, because there's a lot going on here. They are deceivingly. I'm not going to say they're deceivingly simple, but they are maybe deceivingly complex. I'm just going to flip that. And maybe if you can make sense of that, then cool. And if not, then sorry for you.
Maybe they're simply
You can
complex.
see the manual on my website.
Yeah, and it's on the website too.
Yeah.
I was filtering through that, going like, okay, when I did the Instagram post, I actually counted all the words you said. And
I have the directions right here in front of me. I think they're they're rather easy to follow.
Yes, but it lets you know all the amazing things you could do with this. It has so many possibilities for tone, for drive, and for actual like power pushing. It's a
Totally.
I mean,
Oh yeah. Well, I had a lot of trouble writing that manual because I'm coming at it from the like perspective of design, not from the perspective of a user. So yeah, I was like, okay, how do I make this like? So I put a lot of work into designing this to do exactly these things.
Yeah.
So how do I communicate that in terms people will understand if they're trying to style in something?
These are really, really nice manuals. It's beautiful.
Thanks.
Very well done.
yeah.
Thanks.
now-
that's the humor magazine training coming in.
Yeah. And to be clear, just so we're referencing this is the 112 Plus, and this is based off of the Dumble Drive.
No, it's not really based on anything. It was originally going to be based on the Fender Princeton 112 Plus,
Okay.
which is a 90s, early 90s, I think 1992 solid state amp that I owned in high school, and that I modified once and made sound amazing.
Gotcha.
But the first revision of the 112 Plus was basically that with very little changed. And I kind of realized the whole tone stack made it perfect for 90s metal, but not much else. So I was like, oh, okay, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
And then
I appreciate that.
yeah. So I scrapped that and replaced it with an active EQ. And then, okay, so that revision I got back and I was like, I wish this worked better as a clean boost. Like, it's kind of like quiet and then it's dirty. So, scrap that, scrap the input stage, replaced it with a booster stage, and kind of felt the same way about the next revision after that. So I added another booster stage after the gain stage, and to bring the level up even higher.
Jeez.
And going around and around like this, being like, get a revision, listen to it, be like, I wish I did this, change it, to the point where it's not anything like what it was supposed to be based on in the first place anymore. But I like the name 112 Plus.
It's cool.
So,
it's cool.
yeah.
It's a unique looking pedal. It's a unique sounding pedal. If you are definitely looking for something on your pedal board that can do just about anything in the power and or drive section, we're looking at it right now.
Oh yeah, it's a bit of a weird one for some people, I think, because they think they're expecting like just a normal overdrive, and it's it's an overdrive, but it does a lot of stuff that most overdrives don't do. So unless you know that, you might kind of be like, hey, yeah, but why? What's the point? Why another overdrive? It's like, well, I didn't want to make another overdrive. I wanted to make something else.
Yeah, you could have called it the yeah, but why? That's kind of
but why? yeah, but
yeah, but why?
Yeah, but
Steve, what is cooking for you in the near coming future that we can be aware of? Anything?
Oh yeah, definitely. So I've been working on this one called the Retro Harmonic for probably about a year now, off and on. I have gotten kind of bogged down with building work due to popularity and stuff. So it's not an ongoing thing, but it's not. It is an ongoing thing, but it kind of goes on the back burner every now and then. Trying to get, I've got a dev board for it now, trying to get that off the ground. So basically what it's going to be is a stereo harmonic tremolo that has the LFOs generated by a microcontroller. And what it's going to do is, a harmonic tremolo, it's like you've got your bass going up and your treble going down, and then it swaps. So you've got both channels to do that. And then it's going to let you control the offset of the bass and treble waveforms, LFO, so that you can overlap them and have it do normal tremolo. You can have them at 180 degrees, so they're completely offset, and do harmonic tremolo. Or you can put them at 90 degrees or anywhere in between.
That's pretty fun.
And then for the right channel, it's got a knob that lets you do exactly the same thing. Like, so you can have it so it's perfectly doing the same thing as the left channel, or you can change how much offset it is. Oh, I'm working on a chorus too. But anyway.
Oh, I'm working on a chorus. Okay. Tell us really quick about that.
I don't know if I can talk about it. It's not necessarily for me.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. But, you know.
Ixnay on the Oris K.
Yeah.
Well, it's really cool, though.
Okay.
Okay,
well,
I'll talk a little bit about it.
Okay, he's going to talk a little.
It's basically like a tri-chorus. So you've got 3 chorus or 3 delay lines in parallel. And so, split up a wavelength from 360 into 3, you've got 120, right? So you offset each LFO by 120 degrees from the last one. And they all like go out of phase. So none of them ever lines up with the other, and there's no zero crossings. So you've got these 3 delay lines being modulated out of phase with each other. And it just sounds lush and like just really nice. But you don't hear the wobble so much because of how you set up the phases. Yeah,
I get it. I like the chorus pedals that you could actually split, and you have 2 different sounds coming out of 2 different amps. Thus, gives you this.
It does have stereo output, but it doesn't do it like you're saying it does.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
No, it does what the something like the MXR stereo chorus or the Boss C3 or Swindler's the Golf.
I could see
those
that.
ones do. It does stereo chorus.
That Swindler Golf is great.
Yes, absolutely.
Thanks for giving them a shout. Swindler, great pedals.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody.
And Drew is a fantastic person.
Yeah, he's
just
a
an
super
awesome
nice
guy.
dude.
Yeah.
All right. Well, man, thank you so much for sharing all of your brainiacness and your good humor and your awesome engineering through your pedals. Everybody, please make sure you go check out Demedash pedals. Check out the T120 Deluxe or Standard, as well as the 112 Plus Drive. We are going to ask ourselves a very important question right now. Jared?
Okay, it's time for Would You Rather? This one's brought to us by our friend, Cody Lane. And the Would You Rather is, when you pass, as in die, and hopefully at an old age, of course,
Ooh.
you had written in your will that you wanted your remains to be cremated and repurposed. Would you rather have your ashes mixed in materials to press your own custom vinyl, as in a vinyl record,
Yes?
or have them made into components to your favorite effects pedal of all time?
Wow.
I don't know how they do that, but sure.
Yeah.
Choose one, and this is what he advises us on this. Would you rather choose wisely to spook the grooves or haunt the fusion licks played by your loved ones?
That might be the craziest one we've got yet.
That's exactly what he said.
That's pretty fun. Okay, so to recap, you're
dead.
You die. You get
You're
you
burned
cremated. You get made into a record, or you get made into a
bone
pedal.
chunks and
You're a
stuff.
pile of ashes.
Yes, Tony Baloney, you have the first spin at this.
See, I always have to go first, and everyone then goes opposite me.
That's not true.
It makes me cry. I go home.
not true.
I can't take it anymore. I like the idea of vinyl,
Okay,
although I think I might make scratches from the ashes.
okay,
It would be
right.
Oh,
Right.
you can haunt them.
Yes.
buried Paul.
Yeah, yeah.
I trapped the owl. That's I like that. I like that idea better than owl.
Cool.
The record thing.
That's
what,
cool.
what color? What color vinyl would you press if it was you?
If it was me,
Would it
red.
be baloney colored?
Baloney. No, it would be red.
Yeah.
Pinkish.
Jared, how about yourself?
I don't know how they're going to do the...
Don't worry about that. It's not part of the. You got
It is
plenty.
too.
The assumption is that it's possible.
They'll
Yes.
just take some ordinary pedal and dump the ashes inside the pedal.
That could work.
Put the lid back on.
Yeah.
In that
how you
case,
protect the
you know
circuit.
what? Make me a vinyl record.
Yeah.
No one's going to play it because no one owns a record player anymore. But
What are you talking about? We're in the age of the renaissance of vinyl. Hello.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're a
Do
record.
the record,
What
and,
color vinyl are you? Purple. Got it.
Purple.
Purple Sparkle.
All right, Steve. How about yourself?
Oh, electronic components easily. I can add that to my post bucket list.
Yeah, you add that to your
post bucket list.
Do you?
Oh, no,
have a
I should
bucket
explain.
brigade
Sorry.
list? Is that what? that's called?
No. So, I just plan to get really rich, right?
Right.
And so when I die, I'm gonna have a post bucket list. And what it is it's a list of requirements that somebody has to do to get my inheritance.
Oh, I like that. That'd be
So
a great
like
movie.
skydiving in New Zealand, but they have to take me with them.
Yeah,
My corpse, I guess.
that would be weird and gross.
Yeah. They can choose to take the head only, but that might be weird.
Oh my god!
Wow.
Is this the Halloween
Turning into
episode?
a weird Japanese movie. Okay, well, as for me,
Hey, what about you, Todd?
Thank you. As much as I do love pedals, I think the idea of being pressed into a record would be pretty neat.
Okay, but what about going skydiving with a head?
That's some people. In fact, I think Cody Lane might think that that's actually pretty neat. But as for me, I'm gonna get pressed into a neat, and mine will be clear with the orange splash through it. Yes,
with the head thing, that would be
that's
cool
not-
if when you finally land, there was a basketball hoop set up, and you had to dunk the head in the
Oh,
hoop.
I'd be down for that.
Why are we talking? You grotesque people. All right, Steve, where can people find your wares out there?
Skydiving in New Zealand.
.com
Yes,
with head.
Or the internet.
yes,
Yeah. I mean, it's like my name,
yep.
Demedash, and then effects, like the word, not like the letters.
Awesome.
Sweet.
And that is Demedash, Demedash. Now, Tony, we got a couple people to thank real quick here.
We do. At this point in the show,
Sorry.
we like to thank a special group of people. These would be our executive producers.
Ooh.
And you go, well, what's an executive producer?
It's an important name.
Go over to patreon.com/the guitar knobs, and you will find several levels that you can participate and become a patron of this fine American podcast.
That's right.
The biggest level, the most beneficial to us and to your soul is that of the executive producer. So in addition to all these great little swag packages that you get, t-shirts, barefoots, buttons, and stickers and picks and all kinds of stuff, the executive producers get one thing more.
It's awesome too.
What is it?
Well, they get to have their name right on the thing.
And that's what I'm going to do right now.
And they can win stuff.
Oh!
We're giving away stuff all the time
I
now.
forgot about the
It's
giveaways.
fantastic.
Watch the videos on social media.
Yeah, you'll see it. Okay, go ahead, Tony. Hit
Oh, see now I'm just all out of sorts.
it. It's exciting. We got new people.
I hadn't thought of the giveaways.
I can't wait to hear the new executive producer names.
Well, there is, coincidentally, a new executive producer today.
Okay, he gets his name right on the
His
thing.
name is Cody Foster.
Hey, Cody, welcome.
Welcome on
Cody
board.
Foster.
Let's go through the list.
Yeah.
Cody Lane,
Also
Another
brand new,
Cody?
too. Yeah.
Cryptic Cody.
and provided us with a lovely Would You Rather.
Yep.
How about Justin Jones,
Justin Jones.
Tommy Manasco, David Kaminga,
Yeah.
Doug Gann, Tim Novak, John Esterly, Chris Heidel, Tig Harmon, Tyler Bray, John Anglin, Anthony Lanthrop, Johnny Knowles, Stefan Lamb, Michael Senchuk, Brian Robison, Jonathan Jerusik, Ken Sayers, Corin Agro, Brad Partridge, Michael Van Zant, Doug Christ, Darren Gregory, Chris Kearney, Sean John Daly, Martin Cliff, and Tom Barazin.
All right.
Hey,
we love you guys.
We've been saying some of those names for a very long time.
Yeah.
I truly cannot thank you enough. We say this every week. I write notes. I try to make sure that we're doing everything we can to stay in connection with our executive producers and even and everybody who's contributing. We thank you so very much. We are going to be in our last week in this studio next week, and then we got to find a new home, and that's going to be kind of difficult. So we're going to do the best we can, but we would not be able to do it with your help, and we truly, truly thank you. Tony, where can people find you?
Let's go over to pickguardian.com. That's a good website. You can see some of the things that I offer. And if there's something that you need that isn't on there, just shoot me an email. I will take care of you personally.
Perfect.
And you can also see some of the projects we've talked about on my Instagram account. That's pickguardian and the number 1.
Perfect. Jared.
Oh, man, look me up on the internet or Instagram. Jared at BrandonWongPickups.com is my email. And check out my website. It's BrandonWongPickups.com. Cool
That
stuff.
is
Instagram,
right.
there's always cool old vintage rewinds that I'm showing off because it's cool. Check me out.
Awesome pickups. And you can throw
Yeah.
me a line, Todd at theguitarknobs.com. That's my email. You can also DM me on Instagram. We love hearing from you. We love when you share things with us. Send us your would you rathers. We'd love to read them. Steve, thank you again, truly, for your time and for making these awesome pedals. They are outstanding. We hope everybody makes sure to go out and check those out. I hope you had a good time, Steve.
Yeah, it was good.
Good.
Excellent.
Everybody have a fantastic guitar week and subscribe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you see that? Oh, my God.
Close to my dog might start scratching at it.
It happens. We actually get the animal thing a lot. Yeah, he's a good one. He's a hot one. He's a hot one. All right. We've got the largest kitty litter box in the world for Jared.
That's nice.
Come on.
Yet again,
How
my
embarrassing.
scientific brain prevails.
Don't call me stupid.
And everyone thinks it's a turd.
Yes.
So
That was the abbreviated
Yeah.
version.
yeah, it was.
I've got a bucket of that I keep that I'm just going to unleash at the end of the year.
And
Yeah.
thanks for saving the owl.
Well, that's it for these knobs. Please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/theguitarknobs. Visit our website at theguitarknobs.com for all of our past episodes, 4 on the Floor blog, and other good stuff. You can connect with us on social too at our Facebook page and share your gear and stories on our Facebook group. Also, be sure to check out our Instagram at Guitar Knobs. Catch you next time.